31, Seffi. Don't treat me like this, Kamal. I won't stand for it. Then go and have another bottle or eight of wine. That's all you're good for these days. I winced at Dad's tone of voice, so utterly contemptuous, and he made no attempt to hide or disguise it. Minnie sat in the stair above mine as we listened to one of our parents' rare arguments. Rare because Dad was never at home. Rare because on the very few occasions that Dad was home, Mother was usually too out of it to notice or too refined to start an argument. We just finished our dinner in the family room, and both Minnie and I had been sent upstairs by Mother to do our homework. That alone was enough to tip us off that something was going on. Mother never told us to do our homework unless she wanted to get us out of the way. So you're not even going to deny it? Mother asked. Why should I? It's about time you and I face the truth. Past time, in fact. Kamal, what have I done to deserve this? I've always been a good wife to you, a good mother to our children. Oh, yes, Dad agreed, and if possible, his tone grew even more sneering. You've been an excellent mother to all my children. I turned to give my sister a puzzled look. She was looking straight ahead. What did Dad mean by that? I did my best. Mother sounded like she was starting to cry. Your best isn't up to much. Was I supposed to let you bring your bastard into our house? Mother shouted. Oh no, the great Jasmine Adby Hadley bringing up her husband's child as her own? That could never do. I mean, God forbid that you should chip a nail or dirty one of your designer gowns after looking after my son. I should have let you bring your son into our house. I know that now, Mother said. But when you told me, I was hurt. I made a mistake. So did I when I married you, Dad shot back. You wanted to punish me for my son, who was born before you and I ever met, and that's what you spent years doing. Don't blame me if I finally decided enough is enough. Dad had a son. Minnie and I had a brother. I turned to my sister. She was looking at me, her eyes narrowed. We had a brother. Kamal, I was hoping that maybe we could start again. Mother began hesitantly. Just you and me. We could go away somewhere and... Oh, Jasmine, don't be ridiculous, Dad interrupted. It's over. Just accept the fact. Besides, look at you. You've really let yourself go. I gasped at that, and I wasn't the only one. You're a cruel man, Mother cried. And you're a drunk, said Dad. And worse than that, you're a boring drunk. Minnie stood up and headed upstairs. I didn't blame her. I knew I should do the same. Stop listening. Walk away. Just go before I ended up hating both my parents. But I stayed put. Like a fool, I stayed put. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be Deputy Prime Minister. You'd be nowhere. Mother's voice trembled as she spoke. Oh, please, don't pretend you did it for me, because we both know that you did it for yourself, then the kids, then our neighbors and your friends. What I wanted, what I needed, came a long way down your list. I didn't hear you protest when my parties got you known by all the right people, started you moving in all the right circles. No, I didn't complain, Dad admitted, but you got just as much out of it as I did. And now you're going to walk out on me and your children for that? That, Mother's voice dripped with bitterness. Her name is Grace, Dad interrupted harshly, and I'm not walking out on you. I left a long time ago. You just refuse to believe it. You and the children will get everything you need. You will be well provided for. And I want regular access to my girls. I love them too much to let you poison their minds against me. But after the next election, I'm going to make it officially known that you and I are no longer together. You won't get away with this. I'll divorce you, Mother threatened. I'll tell all the newspapers. You'll divorce me? Dad actually laughed. I flinched, sticking my fingers in my ears, only to take them out again at once. Jasmine, the day you divorce me will be the happiest day of my life. You can't afford the scandal of a divorce in your position, a position I helped you to get. If I had a penny for every time you said that, I'd be the richest man on the planet, Dad replied. Dad's footsteps sounded on the parquet floor. I jumped to my feet and darted upstairs, not stopping until I'd reached my bedroom. I leaned against the door and closed my eyes. I didn't cry. I wasn't even close to crying. I grabbed my jacket from my chair and ran downstairs, heading out of the door before anyone could stop me. I needed to clear my head, and our house wasn't the place to do it. I ran and ran to the garden, across the wasteland, toward the beach. Maybe if I ran fast enough, my thoughts would click into some sort of order. Dad had found someone else. He was leaving, and I had an older brother, older than Minnie. Nothing in my life was a fact. There was nothing to cling on to, nothing to anchor myself to. I just whirled around in Callum. Callum was already there in our place, in our space. I ran along the beach the moment I saw him and plunked myself down beside him. Callum put his arm around my shoulders. We sat in silence while I tried to straighten out my thoughts. I looked at his face, which was in profile, but I could see enough to realize there was something bothering him, something that was making him sad. I'm sorry about Mr. Jason, I said at last. I finally got what you were talking about in today's lesson. Don't apologize for him, Callum frowned. It's not your place to apologize for every moronic cretin in this world. Only the moronic cross-cretins? I asked with a brief smile. Not even those, Callum smiled back. I'll tell you what, you don't apologize for every cross who's an idiot, and I won't apologize for every not who's a saint. Agreed? It's a deal. Cal and I shook hands. Come on, best to get over with, I told myself, taking a deep breath. I said, Caleb, I've got a confession to make about my birthday party. He became very still at the moment the words left my mouth. Oh, yes, he prompted. His arm dropped away from my shoulders. It's just that I wanted you there, but for mostly the wrong reasons, which were I wanted to upset my mom and my so called friends, I told him. I wanted to hit back at all of them. I see. No, you don't, I said. I'm telling you now because I'm taking back my invite. Why? Because I said, hoping Callum would get my ridiculous attempt at an explanation. He secret smiled at me, saying dryly, Thank you. You're welcome. We'll do something else for my birthday, okay? Okay. Growing up is hard work, I sighed again. And it's going to get harder, Callum warned, his voice suddenly grim. I looked at him and opened my mouth to ask what he meant, but I closed my mouth without saying a word. I was too afraid of the answer.